The Boston Celtics were the most disappointing team in the Eastern Conference this season. After improving the team's record for 5 straight seasons, the Celtics lapsed to 49-33 and 4th in the East this season. But there's a reason everyone around the league was so high about them in the first place. They have the talent to make a really deep run in the playoffs this season. As they proved in the sweep against the Pacers, they are a great defensive team even in the absence of Marcus Smart. Against a modern stats-driven offense that scores mainly from the paint and three-point range, they will have to be at their best all series long on the defensive end. In my opinion, there are 3 things we've learned from the first round that Brad Stevens should and would be weighing in his mind strategically against the Bucks. The first thing they have to get right is to limit the minutes of their 2 most inconsistent players, who are Marcus Morris and Terry Rozier. The Celtics play best when their players are moving the ball around, but Morris and Rozier have been taking too many bad shots in forced ISO situations. Their eagerness to rack up personal stats has been at the expense of shots that could have gone to the likes of Brown and Tatum instead. Rozier is a player small enough to be targeted through mismatches onto bigger wing players. This weakness will be magnified against the Bucks, who have a ton of quick wings with the ability to put the ball on the floor. If Brogdon is fit to play against them in the second round, the Celtics will be in fits trying to defend their paint against Giannis' bulldozing play coupled with cutters to the paint. Secondly, they need to play as much of Jaylen Brown, Tatum and Hayward together as they can. Granted, the Pacers, Bucks and maybe later on the Raptors have bodies big enough to cause a lot of damage in the restricted area. But the improved spacing of lineups with 3 wings alongside Irving is a fascinating prospect and one worth testing out in the playoffs. While he was a step or 2 slower than his pre-injury self nearly all season long, Hayward has made it back to starter-level play in the playoffs. His 20-point outburst in the closeout game in Indianapolis was another sign that Hayward is ready to be a big part of the Celtics' schemes against the Greek Freak. Hayward would be the obvious choice to guard the opposition 4 given his physique. This lineup allows the Celtics enough switching ability between 6'7", 225-pound Jaylen Brown and 6'8", 230-pound Jason Tatum with a 7-foot wingspan. They're also sneaky transition threats, especially when lining up Horford at the center and freeing him up to run on the break after gathering the rebound. Thirdly, small ball lineups will probably be the Celtics' best chance at stopping Giannis without foul trouble. Stevens has been relatively successful in keeping Giannis under the wraps over the last 2 seasons, but he has a supporting cast full of knockdown shooters this time around. Making them beat the Celtics may be the best option for Brad, and having long versatile defenders is usually the way forward in defending Giannis. Baines played a big role against the dual threat of Sabonis and Turner in the first round. But Brook Lopez and Mirotic are more mobile than Baines, who will likely only be matched up against Ilyasova. Theis will probably see an extended run if he is able to space the floor this series. Brown or Hayward will have to double up as a weak side help defender against Giannis, which makes Irving, Brown, Tatum, Hayward, Horford their best lineup. Ultimately, the Bucks have the most dominant player in the world. Giannis is complemented by Chris Middleton, who torched them last season in the playoffs shooting 50, 40, 80. The Bucks have proven that they are serious contenders and the favourites going into this series. Taking them down will mean winning at least 1 road game, and the Celtics will have to shoot better than they did in the first round. Irving has so far been great in the playoffs, but he may have to take it up to a whole new level to match the onslaught of the probable MVP. Giannis averaged 26 points per game last season, and this year he's primed to average 30. Unless the Celtics shoot above league average from 3-point range, they're slated to lose this round even if they make the adjustments I laid out. Hey, if you like our content, smash that like button and hit subscribe to get NBA analysis videos on your feed.